Demonstrators are taking to the streets of Beirut. They are demanding answers and justice following that massive chemical explosion in the city's port. Police in riot gear are responding with tear gas. As you can see, there has been growing public outrage ever since that blast on Tuesday that killed 150 people, also injuring thousands and leaving about 250,000 people homeless in Beirut. People are blaming the government for the port explosion, saying it should have all been prevented. Well, tracking all of this for us in Lebanon right now is Rebecca Collard. She joins us right now on the streets of Beirut. So, Rebecca, talk to us about what is happening around you right now, as I can see many people congregating right behind you.
Actually, Michael, these protests have just started in the last hour or so, and it is an absolutely hectic scene here. I just want to point out to you, I'm about almost a kilometer away from the center of the protest, and I just want to show you how many people are flooding towards Beirut's Martyrs Square. Even here, there are thousands of people that I can see around me. And if you look, Michael, if you can see there, sorry about that. I don't know if you can see how far down it goes, but also there is just so many ambulances driving by. And, it's such a weird situation now, considering we've been seeing these ambulances go by because of the injured people from this blast. And now what seems to be happening is that, the security forces are already cracking down with tear gas, trying to disperse these demonstrators. And the ambulances are having to go and assist the protesters now. So let me try to give you a sense again, if you can just see how many thousands of people so angry have flooded downtown Beirut right now, Michael. It's just absolutely remarkable. And, they have been telling me for days as they cleaned up the streets of this city that this is exactly what they were going to do. They were coming to the streets to protest. They are so angry about what happened here on Tuesday, Michael.
Well, and understandably, as we say, a number of people have died, thousands have been injured. So many more have been made homeless because of this blast in the port of Beirut. And as we say that, though, there are recovery efforts underway. Tell us a bit more about that and whether or not it's doing anything to essentially stop the anger that we're seeing amongst people in the streets.
I don't think that's doing anything to stop the anger. To be honest with you, Michael, I just want to point out that a lot of these people that are here right now, these are the people that were cleaning up the streets for the last few days. And they have told me so many times that as soon as they were done, and I mean, it's not done, there is so much cleaning left to do, that as soon as it was done, that they would be here protesting. If you can see, here's another ambulance speeding away from the center of the protest. So yes, recovery efforts are underway. They're still hoping to find people in the rubble. That's happening, but now the anger has just absolutely exploded here in the streets of Beirut. And Michael, I think it's just only the beginning of it, to be honest.
Only the beginning, as you say. Rebecca, you and I will speak again. Thank you for trying to muddle through the technological challenges, but that is our Rebecca Collard in Beirut, Lebanon. Well, let's stay on this story right now and bring in two Lebanese Canadian sisters who did survive the blast on Tuesday. They say right off the bat they are disappointed in politicians but encouraged by today's protest and hopeful that this is in fact a turning point. With that, let's bring in Sadrine Mata, who was in her house with her young daughter at the time of the explosion. Her sister Nicole was downtown very near the port. They join us right now in Sadrine's house just north of Beirut. So thank you to the two of you for joining us.
Thank you, Michael.
Listen, Nicole, I'm going to ask you to start us off because I want you to describe what you saw on the way to your therapist's office before the explosion actually took place.
Well, actually, I was driving there around 5 minutes. I was just on the highway and I was seeing some smoke coming from the port. And everyone on the highway was stopping just to take some photos and filming what's happening. I didn't stop because I had an appointment at 6. So I drove away and I arrived under the building in Jemaise area. It's just in front facing the port. I went to the building, didn't know that the smoke has to do something with what happened later on. I just arrived to the building. My physiotherapist opened me the door. I entered. Then suddenly we heard a small blast. We didn't understand what is it. Then a few seconds later, some rumbling, and we were just asking what's happening. We couldn't have answer. The explosion happened, and all the smoke entered from all the openings in the space we were in. Everything was damaged, all the walls, the equipment. We were just on the floor, on the glass, and we didn't understand what's happening. So it was really frightening and frustrating. And at a point, we just needed to see how we can escape. For this moment, that's it.
Sandrine, what was that like for you? You were at home, and to my understanding, you felt the blast in your home. But here you are trying to deal with the blast, knowing that not only your sister is near the port area, but so is your husband. What was that like for you?
Actually, what I felt at home was not similar to what my sister felt in Beirut, nor my husband. At home, I felt something like an earthquake. Then we heard a blast. The house was shaking, the glass was shaking, it was going to fall. I didn't know what was that, and I didn't know that it happened in Beirut.
So you still had a lot of questions then?
Yes. I turned on the news to understand that it was a kind of blast in the port. My husband works in Beirut, near the port, close to the port. There were no phone lines. He was not answering. I didn't know that my sister was in Jamaica. I knew this few hours later on. It was terrific.
Horrific. And now we are seeing these protesters on the street right now. As you may have heard beforehand, we do have a reporter on the ground, and she says already things have taken a turn for the worse as people try to make their way to the parliament area. It seems at this point the government forces are throwing tear gas at people. Talk to us about the anger that's being felt right now throughout Lebanon as to what happened with the explosion and the aftermath, and how the government's handling all of this.
Actually, everyone is extremely angry. What happened was
catastrophic.
Yes, it's unforgivable. It's I don't know why we reached this point in Lebanon. People have been removing debris for like 3 or 4 days. The government is nearly absent. They are treating the demonstrators.
And even no one is saying that we are responsible.
Yes.
No one is responsible. Everyone they are interviewing, they say, no, it's not me, it's them. So we don't know why they are escaping all their lies, and until when they will hide all their lies. People died. I was crossing the street. I was jumping on bodies dead on the floor. Even in wars, you can't see those scenes I saw. All people lost their houses, their cars, their shops,
family members.
It's not something normal. It's not by hazard, and it's not.
It couldn't be simply an accident.
You know, I can hear the frustration in both your voices. What do you hope comes out of all of this? Of course, horrific that this explosion even happened on Tuesday, but now we are seeing so many people coming out to protest, speaking out with their voices for those that have been made homeless, injured, or killed. What do you hope happens out of all of this, Nicole?
Well, for me, after seeing all the Lebanese one hand, honestly, I don't worry about people who lost their houses, because I'm really sure that they will find them back away and they will rebuild everything. But what I really worry about is that it's time for all Lebanese to wake up from those lies we are been through over years and years. And it's time to question our politicians that are in their houses eating, shitting, sleeping without any care of what's happening. And it's not only this explosion that happened. We have been through all those months into some really bad economical situation. Banks having capital controls on all our owns at banks. So while them, they are having some assets and some money abroad in other countries. They don't worry about us. So we're just now preparing to sign some petitions in order, if we can, as Canadian, as French, as any other foreign nationalities, if we can, through other countries, if we can put our hands on their monies abroad, on their assets abroad, because they don't feel with us. They just they are taking everything we have, and now they are taking our lives. So until when it will happen? It's really frustrating.
Nicole, Sandrine, I appreciate this is a very difficult time, so thank you for speaking with us today.